The Box Seat, brought to you by our stable of sponsors. Box Seat time again. Big thank you to our stable of sponsors. Michael Guerin, what we have ahead over this weekend is arguably as strong a harness racing we've had Australasian-wise in some time.
Not arguably, Gregory, it is the biggest weekend of harness racing Australasian-wide this year, and I'd go as far as to say, because we had 2 icky years with COVID, in the last 5 years. They have a stunningly strong meeting out of Melton with a great Victoria Cup, a chance for revenge for the real Sherlock in the Victoria Derby. We'll get to that later, and a good Oaks and a great trotting race. But before that, undoubtedly the strongest harness racing meeting on this side of the Tasman for a year, Gregory, and possibly even longer when you consider the depth of the open class pace, the open class trot. First time Muscle Mountain and Bolt for Brilliance have met in 17 months and 1 day. All of that wrapped around the good 2-year-olds in both the trotting and pacing games, Greg. I am tremendously looking forward to all this, and sort of in between it all, there'll be a $20 million race at Randwick.
Yeah, so let's get into it. What is ahead on your show? The Box Seat. Yes, we have a 4-time junior driver champion, Sarah O'Reilly. We'll see how she did it and then talk to her about that. The IRT New Zealand Cup continues, the build up to that. Bolt is back, Bolt for Brilliance. Brilliant to see him on Friday night. We've got that Harness Million Night preview for Addington on Friday night. Big night at Melton Saturday, including that Victoria Cup Trotters Classic, and we have multiple competitions for you. So a lot to get through. Let's get straight into it. Let's go to the Macmillan Feeds Junior Drivers Championship. Here was the first heat. Dance Till Dawn getting it done for Carter Dalgetty. Bolted away here and won really comfortably. Sophia Bromack got home well. Ben Hope and then Classy Link. So that was the first heat and first big points on the board for Carter. This was a dramatic finish for Team Hope. They finished first, second and third. Tedesco getting home for Zev Meredith, beating Tarapa, and West Star Millie getting into third. So a good result there. Zev beating Sarah and Sam Thornley. So they were the first couple of heats out of Addington Raceway last Thursday night. To Friday, it was a Northern Southland meeting, Al's Angel. This is when Sarah O'Reilly started to get her defence, if you like. Another opportunity for her to win a title. She got home here in pretty good style. Zev Meredith was second, and Gemma Thornley in third position. With a Bang was successful in our next heat, and again Sarah O'Reilly aboard, so she had hit the front by this stage and looked a massive chance of carrying on and getting that 4th title, a 4th title that's only been achieved once before by Morris McKendry when this all started. Gift card for Gemma Thornley getting through on the inside of Dwindle Star and our Pinocchio, so the Williamson team in second and third there, but Gemma having a good series too, and then Rapid Response winning the last heat. Kalasa very unlucky in behind for Zev Meredith, and Sarah O'Reilly getting herself into the finish there. Sam Thornley getting the win, but it was Sarah O'Reilly making it a 4th national title. We had Nigel Armstrong on course at Methven, so he had a chat to the champ.
No stranger to winning this series, of course. Win number 4. How special is that?
Yeah, no, it's pretty great. Not many people have done that, so it's pretty awesome to be able to do that.
Winning the last leg at your home track, Methven, does that add to it?
Yeah, no, it makes it pretty cool actually. I love driving around this track, so yeah, it was pretty great.
You've made a couple of ambitions, you've struck them home today. You've won the Methven Cup and you've won the New Zealand Macmillan's New Zealand Drivers Junior Champs again. What more is in the bag for you?
I don't know actually. Just get to the end of this year and yeah.
Well done, Sarah.
Thank you.
Yeah, big thank you to Nigel Armstrong from the Unhinged team. But what about that effort, Michael? Matching what Maurice McKendry was able to achieve in the late 70s. She's a real talent. She's quite a bit of humour too. She doesn't come across as being overly confident, but gee, these horses run for her.
They sure do. Lovely girl, I should say, human, young lady you can call her. She's going to be a huge ambassador for harness racing heading forward because she conducts herself well. She's from good family, of course, good stock, as they say, and she can drive. You don't fluke winning 4 of these because sometimes you're going to get bad horses, sometimes you're going to get good horses, but you can't just fluke winning 4. So looking forward to seeing where this takes her. To all the young ladies and men involved in the championships, hope you used it as an experience to make some more contacts and some more friends for the remainder of your life, because you hear so often, Greg, people talk about meeting these mates through these series, like you do at golf, like I do at footy, and they're people you can have around you for a long time in your life. I hope that's what the Junior Drivers Series is for all involved.
Yeah, absolutely, and we look forward to the top 3 progressing through to the Inter-Dominion Championship, of course, in December. All right, we got the news last week that things weren't a-okay with the defending champion of the IRT New Zealand Cup. His name is Copy That, and Michael Guerin got out to Alexandra Park last Friday night to talk to his trainer, Ray Green.
Well, Ray, not the week you want, and obviously the Cup 3-peat is off. Where is our old mate Copy That at the moment?
He's back in his box. He has to basically stay in the box for 6 weeks. We take him for a walk every day. He can only hand walk. We can't let him out of a trot really. And he's got an injury to a knee, and we have to x-ray him at the end of this week and again in 6 weeks' time to ascertain whether there's any changes and decide what to do after that. So
let's talk best case and worst case scenarios. Best case.
Best case is that he's sound at the end of 6 weeks, and the x-rays are good, and then he'll probably do water walker or something like that for another 6 weeks, and all going well, sound. After that, back into work hopefully.
Okay, don't want to do this, but we need to for all our futures punters and all our fans of the Great Little Horse. What's the worst case scenario?
Worst case scenario is that the healing process doesn't go well, and it could be a year before he gets back to race again. But of course he's getting on a bit then, and it might be curtains for him as a racehorse.
What's it like for you? You've been through so much together. You've won 2 cups. You spent that time in Melbourne when he had a previous serious injury, and he's a horse you've spent a lot of time with. What's it been like, Ray? What's it been like, Ray, to go through that process this week and see him not get his chance to make a Cup 3-peat?
Oh, at first it's disappointing and frustrating, and you're always looking for some way of making it happen. But you have to be philosophical about it. He's done a fantastic job. Not many horses have done what he's done, and you have to sort of see it as it is.
He's won 2 cups and he's won $1 million race by Grins. Do you have a favourite out of those 3 big wins, or in fact his other huge body of work?
Look, he's just every one of those Group 1 races has been marvellous for me anyway. Yeah, I get a buzz out of him every start really, even when he doesn't win. Yeah.
Ray, we're hoping in about 6 months' time you and I are having a conversation on the box seat again, and the people watching at home are saying what a great horse Copy That is. A little bit like Bolt for Brilliance, who came back tonight, and your horse did last year, so let's hope it's not the last time we do this.
Good, thank you, Mick. I hope that's the case, yeah.
So the most notable thing there, Michael, was how emotional Ray was about Copy That. We're looking now at his defence of the New Zealand Cup. Blair Orange in front, holding out Majestic Cruiser. But yeah, it was quite noticeable, wasn't it? This horse means a lot to him.
Well, he would have spent more time with that horse than most people have spent with their great horses, because, of course, the horse broke his leg nearly 2 years ago now in Victoria, but Ray was trapped over there because of the COVID restrictions. So he saw him every day, and there was no racing or trialling or working to be done. So every day it was man and horse, and of course he's given him 2 New Zealand Cups. Real shame he doesn't get his chance at a third. It's going to be a really good cup regardless, but yes, I would have loved him seeing him get his chance after he was probably denied a chance of winning 3 by a poor standing start mechanism way back 3 years ago. Wonderful horse. I hope he comes back, but I only hope he comes back, Greg, if he's good enough to race up to his best form. I don't want to see him come back and struggle. So I guess that's a long way in the future. The one thing I would say is, as we've seen with him in the past, and with Bolt for Brilliance just more recently, these great horses, as long as it's not tendonish, Greg, and as long as it's not a bone which is going to carry all the weight, they can come back. And as we heard from Ray there, we should know more about that inside 6 weeks.
Yeah, one thing I know for sure, there's no way he will bring him back unless he will be competitive. He loves this horse, so we wish all of the connections, the Butterworths, and of course Ray Green and the team at Lincoln Farms, all the best in getting him back. The best in the north may well be this horse. He returned Old Town Road, getting to the outside. This is in the Kerry Hoggard Memorial, the Holmes DG. He stormed home, picked up Fernley Cash, simply Sam to the outside of that, and Whispering Artist coming through on the inside. But this was a brilliant racetrack return from now the second favourite for the IRT New Zealand Cup. And we got a chance to talk to John Dickey post-race to find out where he's at.
Well, John, that's almost a perfect comeback.
Yeah, it was, Mick, because to be perfectly honest, I said you through the week, I was a bit worried about his fitness, and obviously it will bring him on. But yeah, he spiked the temperature a couple of weeks ago, and he went off his grain a couple of days and sort of been a bit easy on him, and so it's just been, yeah, it was good to get back to the track and just show what he can do when he's right.
Well, you lost a main rival and copy that, and then up front there were 4 different leaders, so with Zachary just sitting back there and only unleashing him for about 400 metres, it's probably couldn't have gone any better, really.
Well, that's 100% true, Mick, and I've said to Zachary, he's never driven a bad race on him, and I've said to Zachary on many times that was 11 out of 10 drive. If I look back on the race and I watched it when I go home, I think it was a 12 out of 10 drive. He could have jumped on, by memory, at 4 people's backs at different times. He could have been outside the leader. We wanted an economical trip like that and run home tonight, and he got it, and it was down to Zachary and the horse, yeah.
Johnny looks a little bit thicker in the body to me, like he's put on, I'm having a guess, but somewhere between 10 and 20 kilos, and it looks to have gone over the arse and even a little bit through the back.
Yeah, well, he has, Mick, and the trials the other day, like Zach said he blew out the last bit. We've just seen his back. You could put 4 cups of tea right across his back, you know. It was just insane, you know. He really has. But they do, as you know, horses mature and get a bit old.
Do you reckon last season helped, John? Do you reckon all that racing and that rough and tumbling helped him grow physically and mentally?
Well, I hope so, Mick. I mean, I hope so. I've never won any, big pacing cups, so it would be nice to think that way. But hey, I know what's ahead of him, and I know what's down south. There's some good talent down there, but I'd like to think so, Mick, yeah. How
do you get to this big pacing cup? Does that road go through Ashburton?
It does. He must go through Ashburton, in my opinion. It's a good 1.5 mile race, good field assembled, and then after that, we'll obviously coming out of the race, we'll decide whether we race him at Addington or give him a cup trial. I'm not sure.
After that, after cup time, everybody's a little bit confused these days because there's so many races, and April's the race by Grins and May's the Auckland Cup. Does that put you off going back to Australia, or do you still think you can do both well?
I'm not sure, Mick. I actually haven't thought that far ahead. I mean, we did it last year because there was a lull between cup time and then the Grins, but I don't know. I don't really know, Mick. At this stage, I'm just concentrating on cup time and assess it after that.
He's got a steely focus around the IRT New Zealand Cup, and on that performance, Michael, He's certainly not any worse than what he was last campaign, and you spotted it. He looks stronger. He'll need to be, though, come the second Tuesday in November, but he's certainly on the right trajectory at the moment.
Yeah, he looks great. Looks across the back, Greg, and across the rump. He's got a lot more power there to work with. And it's a funny thing when you look at horses like him, you look and say, well, this is the race for him or that's the race for him. Different horses suit different things. Catch a Wave suits a Miracle Mile. Lazarus suited a New Zealand Cup. I can't think of a race this horse wouldn't be competitive in. He stays well enough and his manners are good enough to win a New Zealand Cup. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but he could. But he's fast enough off the gate that he could win a race by grins. He could be competitive in a Miracle Mile. Now, Leap to Fame's another one, and there's a few of them floating around. Probably a Cooter is another one. But because he has that gate speed, Greg, he can be competitive and a factor and will be in the market for every race you can name in Australasia. Not many horses you can say that about, Leap to Fame being the obvious one and the very good one. But of course, he's not coming for any New Zealand Cup. So, yeah, there's lots and lots of opportunities. He will win a major race in the next 6 or 8 months. Yep. I just don't know which one it could be. And Greg, it might be 2 or 3 of them.
Yep, absolutely, it could be. And one of the significant parts to that, we're about to show you some footage of the first IRT flight Tuesday morning. It was flying down here to Christchurch. There is Bolt for Brilliance. So we'll talk about him very shortly in his clash with Muscle Mountain again. There's Merlin. He is also flowing down on Tuesday morning. Looks in fantastic order and has come up with the inside second row draw. So this flight situation that IRT have put together has made a significant change to the way getting horses down here and back, more importantly. There's Big Kango Michael, who, as you see there, you can see why he had an issue getting to the races at Melton one night. So they load them up and get them on the DHL plane, and it's a brilliant system that they use, and the horses are down here very quickly and in great order, and they don't have the stresses, I suppose, of a long float trip, and more importantly, they get home that way as well. So there's a lot of ticks there.
Look, a couple of the major ones, no ferry crossing. It's very, very iffy, the ferry this time of year. Like some of them don't go, and the ones that do go can be really rough. Also, the horse doesn't lose any training time. If they want, they can train Tuesday morning, or they can land by Tuesday lunchtime, as I did today, and have a jog, so they can work again tomorrow. They could even have the hopples on for a little bit of a breeze on Thursday morning. And you don't have all those concerns about weather and things going wrong, Greg. They're there so quickly. 18 horses flew this morning. 16 of them were harness horses. 1 sport horse, 1 thoroughbred. This is huge for harness racing. That was a very, very valuable bunch of horses. Not just IRT, NZB, of course, are flying as well, so both companies are involved. But IRT seems to be the company of preference for most of the harness racing trainers, Greg. So 16 harness horses, the biggest group northern invasion we have had in a long time. And Greg, when we look at the Addington Fields later on, they are favoured to win 3 or 4 of these races. Now, that's incredibly rare. There wouldn't have been 3 or 4 black-type race favourites from the North Island at an Addington meeting. I would suggest, Greg, not since Mark Purdon moved south.
No, I have to concur with you, Michael, and a big part of that is that flight. As we continue on with our look towards the IRT New Zealand Cup, we need to go back to Methven. It was Cup Day there on Sunday. This is the 96th running of the Alabar Methven Cup, and it was that girl, Sarah O'Reilly, again, hitting the lead here with American Me, who had good grass track credentials going into that. Jimmy James Maguire to its inside, the defending champion Smithy's Terror wide out and 1 change punching through late. But it was the local girl, Sarah O'Reilly, winning again on the grass at Methven.
American Me beat Jimmy James Maguire, 3rd in 1 change, 4th in Smithy's Terror.
Sarah O'Reilly, winning driver, American Me. How did it pan out?
Yeah, pretty good actually. I got down to the fence, which was probably the key. He began good, so that helped, and then we ended up back on the fence and we got out, and he just found the line so good, so yeah, he went really great today.
In an interview earlier this year with Mickey Guerin, you said your ambition was to not win a New Zealand Cup, not to win Paul Renwick Farms Dominion Cup, it was to win a Methven Cup. Well done. How exciting was that?
Yeah, really great. It's just great to win the Methven Cup because I've grown up around here and most people in my family have won it, so yeah, it was really special.
Lovely second, tell me about it.
Well, he was a wee bit slow away. The two inside horses jumped sideways and he sort of went with them and lost a wee bit at the start, so ended up with not too bad a run after, and you know, he's starting a fair way out of his grade, so we're pretty wrapped with the run.
Yeah, he went a really nice race, Nigel. He's been getting better with each run and keeps progressing pretty well through his campaign, so we're pretty happy.
Was wrapped with his run, had a wee bobble early and settled way back, so run on super, and which is a hard track to make ground from the back, so wrapped with his run.
12th win in the career of American Me. Great to see that emotion there from Sarah O'Reilly and what it meant to her winning that Methven Cup, and nice work from Nigel too with the research, remembering an interview that you did, Michael. There you go.
It was on the radio a long time ago, and I was stunned when Sarah, because I said to her, if you could win any race, what would it be? And she said the Methven Cup. So she's done that now, and I understand it. I get it. Having been a West Coaster when I grew up and still a West Coaster now, I would love to win the Kamara Golden Nuggets. I think it's only worth about 30 grand. I'd love to win it. Or the Westport Trotting Cup. I'd love to win those races. I think everybody has a race they grew up around. And for Sarah, well, not many people can say, most people in my family have won this race. That's a rare quote you hear in horse racing. So really thrilled for her. American Me, great for Brent and Tim. Not sure where it fits in, Greg. I was talking to Arna Donnelly about Kango this week, and it's a very similar situation. I'm not sure those horses can win New Zealand Cups. You can still go to them. But you can win lots of other races. There's Invercargill Cups, and there's Kaikoura Cups, and all these sorts of things, and Methven Cups you can win. So, yeah, whether they end up in a New Zealand Cup, Greg, I think it comes down to your rankings and whether the owners want to go for the experience. And I think the New Zealand Cup...
30th, Michael, 30th into 18th, so he's made a decent move, but he'll have to go well in a Kaikoura Cup or the like.
Well, you broke the news yesterday, Captain Ravishing paid a late entry fee to nominate for the Cup, so Captain Ravishing is obviously better than American Me. So if Captain Ravishing, Spirit of St. Louis and Swayze, who resumes on Saturday night, all turn up, that takes 3 New Zealand type horses out of play, the American Me's, because those 3 have to go in. Forget rankings, forget all that stuff. They just got to go in because they're better horses than a horse like American Me.
Yep.
But part of you wants American Me to be there because that fairy tale stuff is what the Cup is about. So I think the Australians will come. I think 2 of them will come. Captain Ravishing, I'm not sure about. So yeah, interesting times and slightly nervous times for those people. We'll try and keep people updated on this show and on hrnz.co.nz about how all that's unfolding.
Yeah, Swayze in just before 11 o'clock on Saturday night at Menangle, and of course Captain Ravishing going around in the Victoria Cup, which we'll preview very shortly. On the market for the IRT New Zealand Cup, $2.30, Michael, for Akuta now. Old Town Road, price basically halved into $5. Captain Ravishing from 26 into 15. Self-assured $7, Speedy Joe 8, Swayze, Republican Party around the $9 mark, and Krug at about $15. What do you make of the move of Akuta into $2.30? I would have thought that's slightly short.
Well, it is when you've got a full field, because each percentage point, even, for example, I'll make this simple for people, I know maths is a pain in the ass. If the other 14 horses in the field are all paying $20, that's 5% of the market. That's 70% of the market in a 100% market taken care of. So if every other horse in the field, every other horse is paying $20, then even then Akuta has to be paying more. Now some will be paying 100, but there's going to be some paying 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. It's no one's fault. It's how the markets are set, and they'll tighten over a period of time. The smart thing is if you like a horse, say you like Captain Ravishing, and if he turns up, it means he's probably in pretty good form. You can have that futures thing, promise, whatever it's called, I'm not sure because I'm not eligible for it, but other people are, where you can back a horse like Captain Ravishing. If he turns up, he'll be less than $15 because he'll be in winning form. If he doesn't turn up, you get your money back, up to $50. And that's probably the smartest way to look at it.
Future-proof, Michael.
There you go, Gregory. So I won't go into the TRV promotions because I'm not eligible for any of them, but that's a story for another day. But
Would you have a bet this week in the Austin Farrier Supplies? So we've got obviously Akuta, Self Assured has to give him a start. BD Joe and Kruger alongside Akuta on the 10 metre mark. Off the front, Kango, who was on that flight as we saw and needs to bounce back for Anna Donnelly. She's hopeful that he will. He obviously didn't perform at his next start either. So yeah,
numerically, Greg, it's a very simple one to answer. For Akuta to start $2.30 or less, which he's not going to do, he needs to win every race between now and then. He has one miss, he starts longer.
Yep.
So you don't back him at $2.30. If you're going to back him at $2.30, if you think he's that good, and maybe he is, then you're taking $1.60 or $1.70 this week.
Yep.
Because most of these horses would hand the lead to him. They don't want to get into a brawl with him. A couple have had their confidence knocked, like BD Joe, and Self Assured's not going to take off and attack him. So if you're thinking 230's value, then you're taking $1.60, $1.70 this week. I'm happy to back him, odds aren't out yet, if I get $1.80 or $1.90 this week because I think he'll win.
Yep.
I'm not happy to take $2.30 in the cup, and I could go into it for ages, and I'm not going to just take this punters at home. It's a dumb idea.
Yep. I think we'll take that on board for sure. Group 1 racing we are Friday night at Addington as well. This is a stellar field. Wagstars in there. This is what he did. Admittedly, Michael, it's a lot lower grade race. Point Break was in second, but you can only do what you can do, and to the eye, he was absolutely outstanding. He broke 155 mile rate wise. He won by 10 lengths. He's got to step up in a big way, and he's got a wide front row draw this week, and he's $12 in the market, but exciting for Craig Ferguson and for Mark Hurrell. He's a pretty smart horse, this Wagstar, but he's in a hot bunch of 3-year-olds. Obviously, Don't Stop Dreaming's there. Merlin's trialled nicely, dead heated with the horse. He follows out, Sooner the Better, this week. Triple G, Alta Meteor, Charlie Brown, Who's Delight. A couple of very good horses from the RJ Dunn team. Captain Tom's a good horse. This is a deep race, but the barrier draw has made it even more intriguing.
Well, it's the Derby field, more or less, over a shorter distance. And both the favourites being off the second line is good. Key to the race is, can Sooner the Better hold the lead? Maybe he can. Do they want to? Because there's a lot of those Dun, Dalgety, fast beginning horses outside you. And if one of them gets across, Sooner the Better trails and Merlin's 3 deep or 4 deep, and then he's in trouble. If Sooner the Better holds, you think to yourself, well, can he hold the whole way? Well, he doesn't have to. If Merlin's on his back and he gets him to the first bend, Merlin can come out and go around him, as they did in the Derby up north. So don't be thinking, can he trail the whole way, Greg? If he gets him to the first bend, he can retake. Very interesting first 400 metres to that race. The irony is, it's not team driving, because Sooner the Better, if he cops a sit...
As a better horse following, I think.
Well, I think if he cops a sit on, that's fine. If he cops a sit on everybody else, he's not, because if he hands up to one of the Dun horses, they can hand up to one of their stablemates. So the smartest thing
and he is good enough to get off the off the gate very quickly. He's done it before.
The smartest thing he could do is lead and hand to his own stablemate, because he knows it's not rehanding. So I know there's people who don't like those sort of tactics, but that's the reality of the world you live in, and there's nothing wrong with it, because that gives him his best chance. Don't Stop Dreaming will improve enormously. He'll be hoping all these fireworks unfold, and then typical Purdon horse, he'll just mosey on round during the middle stages. That tempo will decide whether that moseying is fun for him or it's a lung burn. Great race, looking forward to it.
Yeah, it is. 2:30 for him, 3:30 for Merlin. Looking forward to that. As the next clash we are, Bolt for Brilliance. He is back. He was absolutely outstanding in this race. It did look like he might be in a bit of trouble, and All Cashed Up appeared to be travelling as well on the bend, but rolled into a gallop, unfortunately. And what about the time? 3:23. He only had to run home in 59 and 29, but he won very comfortably, and Michael Guerin was on course to catch up with the Iceman, Tony Hurley.
Bolt for Brilliance, easy.
That must have been very special to have him back, Tony.
Yeah, no, it was, Mick, and yeah, he felt great and warmed up great, and you know he has been really good most of the time this time back in, and so I'm really wrapped with him.
I know you were trying to temper expectations because it was a big handicap and it was a long break, but it looked like he just jogged that.
Yeah, like he has trialled good the last couple of trials and raced up against paces last week and was very competitive, so I thought he was pretty forward, and he's just that well in himself. That's the main thing.
With the fracture, is it one of those things you just put out of your mind now? There's no need to have any more attention to it. It's not x-rayed anymore. It's for you just in the past?
Yeah, and usually a fracture like that, they actually come back stronger as a rule, so hopefully his other feet stand up to it.
Let's talk about being stronger. He's going to need to be. There's a very, very good horse you know well, Muscle Mountain, and a few others waiting in the South Island for you. Are you hitting the Friday coming up?
Yeah, if he pulls, I think he'll come through that grade, and I think it's a flight down, which is no drama for him. He's flown before, and if he lands safely and everything, I think I will go ahead with the trip at this stage, yeah, for race next Friday.
What would your advice be to the Hopes? Maybe leave Muscle Mountain on the Unruly so you can get a nice start off him in the Dominion. Would that be nice?
Any start will be a bonus.
What do you make of them together? I mean, you're a guy who's been doing this for a long time, but even you must be excited to have him back out there against his old adversary.
Yeah, no, and like you say, there's others there too. Like Phil Williamson's got some nice trotters there, so they were always very competitive. And Oscar Bonavina raced great the other week, so it'll be good racing. So hopefully it is. I
know, Tony, after you've done all the things you've done in racing, you don't tend to get too emotional about it, but it must have been special to be back out on the track with your old mate.
Yeah, it was, and coming down the straight there, I could actually hear the crowd cheering, which was great.
The crowd?
Yeah, it's great for us.
There'll be a bigger crowd at Addington next week. There'll be an even bigger one on show day. Is that the big aim, the Dominion?
Yeah, well, it is, definitely, yeah, for sure.
And we know he was on that flight. We just saw it, Michael. OK, 5-all in the head-to-head clashes between Muscle Mountain and Bolt for Brilliance. You've also got Majestic Man in there. You've got Love in the Port, the Rowe Cup winner, and you've got Oscar Bonavina. How does it play out this week?
It's great fun, isn't it? I think Muscle Mountain's got the advantage of being fitter, but I don't think he would have gone much better last week. Standing start's interesting. I think Bolt for Brilliance is more naturally a good standing start horse, and Muscle Mountain can still be a little bit funny. I'm not sure. I'll wait till the odds come up. I mean, if I could get $3 each of two, I would take them both. But of course, I'm not going to get that. What I do think is, and this is the more interesting part, is what happens with Muscle Mountain for the Dominion. Can they keep him on the Unruly for the Dominion, knowing that in a capacity field, he might be giving that horse you just saw 12 lengths?
Yeah. I think that's the most intriguing part leading into that. Michael, we need to get into the New Zealand Bloodstock Harness Million races, so let's do that right now. There's a horse called Chase a Dream that's come a very long way in a short time. This is him getting to the outside of the track. Unbeaten Vesem in front had worked hard to get the lead and copped some pressure, but gee, Chase a Dream was outstanding here. Charged to the line home in 57, 28-7. Won nicely. Big couple of performances in behind it, including Renegade. But here's Olivia Thornley, who had a night out. Olivia, what a terrific performance tonight from him.
Yeah, no, it was super. The progression he's done from his first start to last week to now, he's just stepping up at rate of knots.
Must have been enjoyable sitting at the back of the field, though, when the speed up front was pretty hot. Were you aware that Vesem was getting so much pressure?
Yeah, I was aware, he'd gone and tried to get the lead and then handed up and then went back around. So I knew he'd worked a fair bit and he'd had 3 weeks of not racing, so he's going to be vulnerable. So I was just like, the way it was working out, we were going to swoop, it would be nice to place him, but we ended up getting the win.
Were you still surprised, though, the way he picked them up?
To be fair, no, because last Saturday he got decked by Spirit Anarchy and still picked them up, so I knew that his turn of foot would be very good.
Yeah, and it was tonight, and the way he's gone now in just 3 race day starts. He's got some pretty big assignments in this campaign, but by the look of it, he's right on song.
Yeah, definitely. The way he's improving, I'm sure there's still more improvement in him, so he's going to have a good season.
Chase a Dream, he just keeps stepping up.
He does, Greg. He has sort of started off a little bit quiet, but the more racing he's had and the more professional he gets and keeps coming to hand.
Progression from Oamaru till his performance last week and then again tonight. He's not finished either, is he?
No, he's not, and he is a colt. He still carries a lot of condition, so hence why he's improved so much, I think. But just the confidence of getting around and finding a line is a big thing.
Yeah, outside of the second row for him this week in the big final, Michael, and importantly, Lee Majors come up with a beautiful barrier draw off the front row. It's $2.40, $4.80 Vesem, $5.50 Chase a Dream.
I think Lee Major is at least as good as them at this stage. It was at least as fast as them. And the question now comes, will it be able to get the lead without being worked over by the two Purdon Phelan horses inside it? And I think the answer to that is yes. And then I think the two All-Stars horses will probably come together. I think Vesem and Chase the Dream will move at the same time. If that happens, you want to be on the 1 and the 1-1, not on the 1 sitting parked, if you want to be backing against Lee Major. And that's impossible to tell. That just comes to where they settle and who goes where early. Great race. I'd love to see Anna Donnelly win it. Yeah. She's won a bunch of $50,000 races now, and she's made those new steps in her career. Sounds like a really cool bunch of owners. David Branch, who's involved, so much for harness, is involved in this. I hope it wins. And that's no disrespect to the other horses in the race, because there's some good people like Dean Shannon and Gene Feast and lots of people I don't know involved in those horses, Greg. But I think it'd be a good thing for harness racing if Lee Major wins, and I hope it does. That may be determined by pressure inside the first 200 or 300 metres.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's a good precursor, of course, to the Sire Stakes final on Cup Day. The one on Show Day will see this bunch of fillies going around. Here's Waterfront in the trail. Nice run from her. She looks very progressive. Madrid did a power work in front, went really well. Treacherous Baby down the outside. Not a bad performance either, but an All-Stars trifecta here, Michael, and yeah, another really nice run from Waterfront. I think she's got a big future, and so does her driver, Olivia Thornley.
The inside, Waterfront dives and got up. Waterfront, the inside, will beat Madrid. Third, maybe Treacherous Baby.
So a big performance there by Waterfront. Of course, the other big news on the night was this filly remaining unbeaten, Millwood Nike. Here's what Nathan Purdon had to say about her post-race. Well, what were you thinking mid-race?
I thought we were in trouble coming around the last bend, that's for sure, but those top horses, they find a way to lift, that's for sure.
Stunning performance from her first up, having to sit park in a 55-mile rate on a coolish sort of a night. That is quite remarkable stuff.
It is, yeah, it just shows you the class she's got. She's first up, and you know, it's only those top horses really lift when the going gets tough.
All right, her peak performances need to come in the Neville and obviously in the Oaks as well. So how many turns in the fitness level are there with her, or was she not that far away tonight?
Well, she's naturally fit, so she wasn't far off, but that, you know, you can't beat race day fitness, and that would certainly tighten her up again.
Will she go to the next heat at Ashburton?
Yes, she will.
Yeah, great. The pin-up girl for harness racing continues to win. Michael, we need to have a look at the 2-year-old trot. Here's Paramount Kiwi bolting in at Cambridge. He's come up a short price favourite, $2.10. Get your thoughts on him, and do you expect him to bring this form to Addington Raceway? And then just get your thoughts around Coastal Babe as well, because it could be a big night for Matty White.
Spoke to Matty, horse has travelled well, he's very happy with him, he's a natural of a horse, he's bred to be a natural. I think he'll trot to the lead. I don't know what to make of the Southerners. I think there's a bit of talent there, but there's some manners issues, and it's got to come down to manners probably. There'll only be 4 in it at the top of the straight more than likely, and this horse is most likely to be in front, so he deserves to be the favourite. Coastal Babe I think is pretty good. You can get awfully poor backing against the All-Stars horses in major races at Addington, but if you're going to do it, this is the week to do it. I think Coastal Babe, and what I've seen, is at least as good as the horses we've seen down south. So whether she brings that form, the plane helps. Matty said to me he would like to go forward and lead, but of course he's not sure how she rates gate speed-wise against the other horses. She didn't lead when she won her heat at Cambridge. So with no northern bias, just looking them for what they are, I think Coastal Babe's the best filly at the moment. Whether she gets the best luck to win in there by herself, I don't know, but intriguing racing. Wonderful to see. It is a great card. Such deep fields, even fields, people like Matty White and Anna Donnelly, and you know, you mentioned Craig Ferguson, all these people having a crack at these races. It's good, awesome, Greg. Yep. It's good for harness racing. So we're in for a really exciting time, and this weekend on both sides of the Tasman, let's not forget Melton, it's going to be an absolute ripper. yeah, good luck to everybody involved. That's all I can say, Greg, because I'll need it. There's not going to be horses sitting 3 wide and winning here. No. This is going to be a serious night for serious.
Yeah, it is. $2.70 for Coastal Babe. I don't mind one and the 2-year-old Trot the Merc. I reckon it'll improve immensely. The Breckons get in behind this show each and every week, and their star filly and mare Better Twist has had a foal. There he is by Captain Treacherous. They're delighted to have a colt by the captain out of their superstar mare, so great to get that pick. And a big part of the Brecon Racing syndicates, we lost Sharon Turry this week. Beautiful lady, her and Bruce, they race so many horses with the Brecon team, and including Linda Lovegrace and Luby Lou, who were Group 1 winners, and she lost her battle this week. So Sharon was a beautiful person, and going to miss her around the racetracks, and our thoughts are with Bruce and the entire family. All right, as we go to a break, Walking on Sunshine, back in winning form, got the business done here down South Blair. Orange driving for Tom Baggery. This is the Dancing in the Dark, who have got behind the Canterbury Park Cup this week, Southern Trotting Oaks.
Still strong at the finish, a brilliant win to the Oaks, and it's going to win easily.
Welcome back into your box seat. Yes, brought to you by our stable of sponsors. We need with Garrards to go across the Tasman, Michael, because it is Victoria Cup night. So take us through not only that, but the Derby and the Oaks. It's a pretty big gig.
Oh, it's massive. Great Victoria Cup. Very, very even away from the favourite Leap to Fame, who's going to be around $1.90. He won at Albion Park. This is him. Beating Hot and Treacherous on Saturday night. He had to pay $40,000 to Kevin Seymour for the flight down there and back. So he must be going pretty good because they paid the big money. He's got barrier 4 he'll come into with the emergencies out, and that's going to make him a very good chance, Gregory, at getting across them to lead. Now, there's a lot of gate speed on the front line, but it's not dominant horse gate speed. The big question mark for him, Rock and Roll Do, drawn just inside him. If Rock and Roll Do can get off to lead, then he could win the race. But I think Leap to Fame might be more nippy, and I think Grant will go forward this week. He's sick of racing parked in big races because you can't win from there. That's the Victoria Cup. Victoria Derby has a real Kiwi flavour. The All-Stars have the real Sherlock. Now, last week, what this doesn't show you is he was 3 wide the first lap. 3 wide the first lap to the 1-1. The horse in front is the Lost Storm. He goes straight past him. The horse who was being rated a champion 3-year-old not too long ago and raced in the Eureka. Now, he's had an inflamed epiglottis, has the Lost Storm. They still expect him to be there, but both the Lost Storm and the other heat winner, Petrarca, are drawn the second line. The real Sherlock's drawn the outside of the front line, but that gives Greg Sugars the option to roll forward on him. Of course, in 2017, his sire Vincent started $1.40 in the Derby, copped a flat tyre for Gene Feast, retired from the race. Maybe revenge for Vincent and Gene Feast with the real Sherlock in the Derby if he can stay in front of the Emma Stewart trained horses. The Oaks looks Emma Stewart's to potentially lose. She has a very good horse in Major Delight. She's a little filly, very professional. Good heats the other night. It's not an over-the-line job because she also faces a second line barrier draw in a race with quite a bit of depth and that sort of 2 to 6 filly market, Greg. So they're the 3 features, along with a trotting feature and a great support card out of Melton on Saturday night. It's going to be absolutely booming, and they have coverage on racing.com. Really important on Caulfield Guineas Day to keep the Gallops punters there and do the right thing to try and promote turnover. So some good things happening at Melton.
Yeah, of course, Queen Elida goes around that featured trot. And just back to the Oaks, first dance, Father Brian Glasheen, a mate of yours, has a share in that one. So looking forward to seeing first dance.
Out of Slangivar,
yes.
So close relation to Triple Eight.
Plant racing.
Bigger, taller horse, better gated horse than Triple Eight, which wouldn't be saying much. and she was very good winning her heat, coming home in sub 27 seconds last week. Few moving parts to the Oaks, but a really, really strong night. It's going to be a long day on Saturday, Greg, for people who love a good horse.
Yeah, big week for Team Rogerson as well. They have Love Me 2 racing on Wednesday night, and then on Saturday night in the Oaks, there She's Bella. So looking forward to that. Competition time. Yes, your chance to get to the big day. It is Grand Prix day. You know how it works. Win a trip for 4 to the Grand Prix. All you need to do is answer the question each and every week. One answer per email. You could win up to that $5,000, including travel from anywhere in New Zealand. Stay at the Commodore Hotel. You get the breakfast as well. boxseatnz@gmail.com. Who won last year's Air Park Canterbury Flying Stakes? Tell us who that was, and we will get the business done for you in terms of getting your entry into the draw, which will be done on IRT New Zealand Cup Day. Big week it is for the clubs around the country too. It's annual conference time. There's a remit going forward put together by a group who want some change in harness racing. Penny Baines is part of that. She's the boss, the chairperson, if you like, from Southern Harness. So I got a chance to have a chat to her about what is this all about. Well, Penny, thanks so much for your time on the box seat, because it's a bit of a watershed moment this week going to the annual conference. You've been part of a group put together to remodel the structure of HRNZ and the board side of things. So tell me, how did this come about?
Well, really, I think I became the chairman of Southern Harness last December, and the clubs were really reaching out, particularly the major clubs. Addington and Auckland had recognised that we really needed some relationships. So they had started reaching out, and we really responded, wanting to be part of any conversations nationally, and that's really where it started.
So what's the remit about, and what is the process? How did we get to this stage that it goes to the annual conference for the clubs and kindred bodies to vote on?
Well, we formed a very loose a group of people, which were really just a gathering of concerned people. We didn't do any selections or anything. And then we actually have been meeting for 3 months weekly. We used the thoroughbred model as a basis for starting what we thought was the we interviewed the guys from the thoroughbred and tried to sort of get a feeling for what could be fit for purpose. If we were going to make a serious change to our industry, it had to be a really good positive change. So that's why we really set about designing something that gave us communication, transparency, and really got the clubs involved again in the industry.
All right, so let's talk about it from a board point of view. You're looking to restructure it so there's 5 to 7 members, as I understand, and we're looking at the graphic now. So just tell me a little bit more about that. And just below that level, what you guys are proposing to.
So just before I actually do that, I just wanted to mention that alongside us doing our work, the Standardbred breeders were actually doing a proposal as well.
Right.
So we started consulting with all the groups, and really the logical thing was to have one remit. So so we had to merge our 2 ideas of what things look like to become what we are today. So the actual board's going to be 7. And so this year, nothing will really change, but in 12 months' time, Auckland and Addington will lose their guaranteed positions, and all the board will come up for re-election. So that's a biggie. People are nervous about that, but we don't have a lot of time to execute change in the industry to respond to the global environment that we're living in.
All right, and the National Forum, tell me a bit more about that. So that's essentially a committee, for want of a better word, that will feed to the board and make, I suppose, changes on behalf of the industry that can be moved at a speed that it needs to, rather than having to go to the annual conference every year. Have I got that right?
Well, that's right. Well, I think really the fact that I was on it, Southern Harness began to be looking like a bit of a model that really the rest of the country should pursue. Southern Harness encompasses everything. We do everything for the clubs, but the other two regions will now, it will be an administrative body that, you know, does the consultation. But we felt that at Southern Harness, we had a better communication with the board and management because we were speaking on behalf of a group of clubs. So the guys on the group all agreed that this was going to facilitate a much better communication. And then we said, well, we'd have a national forum that would then have access to the board. The board would be obliged to meet with us and answer any queries and really begin to have a more rapid response to any concerns.
Sounds like you've been through a pretty serious process here to ensure that you get the right structure going forward for our code, and the group of 8 that you've had as a diverse group across all facets of the industry. So you're all looking for the best outcome for the sport.
Oh, you know, it's been incredible actually, and we've made the effort to try to speak to every club in New Zealand. We've had Zoom meetings. There's another one in Canterbury tonight, because the other regions are not formed into regional groups. So Southern is a little bit easier to handle, but the others have to formulate themselves, which they have begun doing. So there's always concerns that the big guys are going to, you know, take these things over. So we really have to nurse that process through, and we're very engaged in getting that something that everybody's happy with.
All right, well, it's an exciting time. Sometimes for people, this isn't the most exciting, but I'm sure this week's annual conference, you know, the decision needs to be made there. So provided that remit goes through, we'll look forward to catching up with you in the near future to get a little bit more detail. But thanks for your time on the box seat.
Thanks very much, Greg. Thank you.
One of the other features out of Methven on Sunday was for the fillies and mares, the What the Hill Trotters Classic, and Galway Girl. She hadn't had a whole lot of luck. Gee, she was outstanding in this, got the front, rolled along for Craig Thornley. I think he only got the front down the back straight and just kept on going, and it was a very brave performance from her. She's now 6 from 22, trained by Styx McRae, and Galway Girl took out that feature trot there on Sunday out of Methven. I think it was pretty cool there because the overall times, particularly the closing sectionals, weren't very fast, but those who won the races won't really care about that. That was Galway Girl winning at Methven on Sunday. Where can you go harness racing this week around New Zealand? We can kick things off with Wyndham Thursday afternoon. 10 races there, 1:53 the start time. Cambridge, 10 races on Thursday evening, 5:19 the first of those. We go to Addington Raceway on Friday night. They've actually got 11 races. They still start at the same time, but the last just before 10 o'clock. Look at all those features with NZB Standard Bred, the Airpark Canterbury 3-year-old Flying Stakes, the clash again between Bolt for Brilliance and Muscle Mountain. And it is the Oamaru Cup on Sunday. Michael, the return of Hey Bartender, taking on a field that he should take care of.
Yeah, pretty good horse. It's an afterthought after a massive, massive weekend. We're looking forward to it. Punters, the advice is this. Odds are changing really quickly in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Unless you're backing something you're certain is going to be favourite, wait. These are big fields with lots of movement. So smart punters, be careful this weekend. There is money to be made, Greg. I cannot think of a better harness racing weekend to play, but play smart, in the last year.
Speaking of playing, Michael, you can do this at Templeton during Cup Week. There's a couple of blokes who won't be playing because we've got a couple of other things on. If you want to be part of, I don't know why it's got O'Connell Promotions there, but obviously someone's had a bit of fun with that, and the box seat. It's really the Templeton Golf Club Cup and Show Week Ambrose Charity Golf Tournament. That'll be right up your alley, Michael. You don't have to play every shot. If you want to sponsor a hole, 250 plus GST. If you want a team in there, it's 200 plus GST. Just get to us, boxseatnz@gmail.com if you want to to partake in this tournament. There'll be a prize for everyone. There's plenty of food and a couple of beverages to talk about the next day of harness racing as well. Then get involved in that. It's a great day out at my local club, Michael, the Templeton Country Club. All right, massive weekend ahead. If you were to have one bet, Michael, where would you lay your wedge this week?
Leap to Fame. I have wanted to back him in either of the last two races. I want to back him this weekend. I think $1.90 is extremely fair for him. I will be backing him, and I'll be looking through all the odds, Greg, and attacking Friday night from afar. Good luck to everybody who has a horse involved. I know it's a huge weekend for lots of people.
And a late competition coming in, Michael. We have got Magic Monday. Yes, Ashburton have come to the party. 2 tickets over the next 2 weeks. You'll be able to enter this competition again. Boxseat NZ's going to get a decent old crack at it. Who won last year's Ashburton Flying Stakes? Send your entries to boxseatnz@gmail.com. We'll draw out 2 winners in next week's show and 2 for the following Monday, of course, which will be Magic Monday. And it is a huge day down there for the Ashburton Club. Michael, that's been a busy old show. Plenty of comps to enter, plenty of reasons to get involved in harness racing over the weekend. Really appreciate your time. Enjoy the Victoria Cup, mate, and I'll enjoy Friday night.
It's going to be fun, Gregory.
The Box Seat, brought to you by our stable of sponsors. Harness Link, for all your worldwide harness racing coverage. Brecon Farms, New Zealand Bloodstock Standardbred. IRT, it's your horse and our passion. Garrard's Horse and Hound. Lincoln Farms, Renwick Farms, Harness Racing New Zealand. The clubs, Auckland, Cambridge, Addington and Ashburton, and the TAB.